Thank you, Al. Al and Joel are trading spaces today. Joel is playing at which center?
The Visions Center for Spiritual Living in Riverside.
Vision Center in Riverside, and so Al is playing over here, and so we're just grateful and blessed that we have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There's a table out front, so Al has some information out there about his music and a music festival that your New Thought Music Festival that he's a part of, and I think some CDs that are out there too. So you'll want to take the opportunity to check that out. And what a great song, because it said everything that I wanted to say. So now I'll have to reconsider what I'm going to say, because Tim covered a lot of it, and Al covered a lot of it. So what do I want to do? Get out early. Okay. Leave it to Robert. So we've been following the Science of Mind textbook this year. This is our theme. And in the front of at least most of the current editions, there's a description of how you can do this one day at a time. There's a paragraph, there's a meditation, there's a section to read each day that we get to do some reading, and by the end of the year, we'll have gone through this entire textbook. And of course, there are some chapters that we just have to work our way through, day by day, accepting it, knowing that somehow that as we move along, we get to that chapter that we've been waiting for all year, and we're there. We're now in the law of attraction. And this is one of my favorite chapters in the entire Science of Mind textbook. If you would just imagine for a moment, this is like 1926. Ernest Holmes is writing and talking about the law of attraction long before it became The Secret. Long before others began to use that as their moniker and began to speak about it in a way that sounded like it was something new. And Ernest Holmes was not the originator of it. It actually began sometime long before that. And if you go back and you look at some of the Greek philosophers, you can find some similarity. They may not have used the words, the law of attraction, but it's there. It is something that the human mind has been aware of, that has known probably since time immortal. Imagine this. Something that has been around as long as the human experience has been around. Something that we declare to be a law, which means that if it's a law, it must be working all the time for everyone, regardless of any condition. The law of attraction operates without any thought as to your personality. In that sense, we call it impersonal. Law is impersonal. It does not care who you are, what you are about, where you grew up, what is your condition, what is your experience. It simply does exactly what it is meant to do. It is the law. And it attracts into your atmosphere of beingness. It attracts into your mental atmosphere. It attracts into your personality. It attracts into your life that which you are dwelling upon in your mind. It's as simple as that. wherever your mind is hanging out, for the majority of the time, then that is what you are attracting by law into your experience. Now, it's not so specific as to say, that if I make a declaration that says that, when somebody cuts me off, I just want to blow them up. That they're going to blow up immediately like that. It doesn't work in that way. But if my mind is, in that sense, if I were to go deeper within and try to figure out what was behind that thought, what was behind those words, I would find some feeling, some emotion going on with me that maybe had to do with some anger. And it really wasn't about that person. It was about some anger that I've been accumulating a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit throughout my entire life, in order to build up to some point to where, when that final little incident happened, the anger exploded and out came those horrible words. So that's where my mind in this situation has been hanging out. And maybe unconscious to my awareness, that I've been hanging out in some anger, that I've been walking around in my experience with some unresolved, some undiscovered, some little anger someplace. And I'm recalling when my older siblings used to pick on me, and there's some anger there. I've dealt with it. Yeah, I blew them up. No, I've resolved it all. They think I'm now the most wonderful person in the entire family. I mean, it's really remarkable how the shift of consciousness has turned everything around. But we hold on to these things in a way that begins to, metaphorically and literally, eat away at our beingness and our essence of who we are. And because that happens, whatever we're taking in, wherever we're hanging out, it begins to build up some kind of possibly resentment, or maybe it's love. It could be anger, or maybe it's compassion. Either one of these can be things that are building up within you, and probably for most of us, we're doing a little bit of all of them at any given time. So we've been trained to begin to work on all of these things called our weaknesses. Let's focus on our weaknesses. I don't know about you, but the school systems that I went through, everything was about what I wasn't doing the best at. If I did something really well, it was like, nice job. However, let's look at all of these other grades. Nobody stopped to focus on what I was doing well and why I was doing so well over here. They wanted to focus on what wasn't working. They wanted to change something about me that they thought wasn't working and ought to be ripped out, taken away, dissolved, and replaced with something even much better. Science has now begun to prove that that has no real impact whatsoever, other than to focus more on what you're not doing, and you probably never will do well. Any of you ever been in that situation where, my example was like mathematics was not my forte, and yet that's all the classes they wanted me to work on was in mathematics. I am so glad I am not a mathematician, because